Greetings and salutations, my fellow Entropians. It has occurred to me that I have not been doing my job as a content creator for Entropia Universe, but I hope to remedy that with a whole batch full of new videos coming soon. But I know that I've been doing videos every day, so we're halfway there. So I'm just gonna keep it going on. But in today's video, there's like a lot of Entropia Universe news that I didn't cover, and I don't know if you guys know about it. I don't know how many people actually look at the latest buzz or anything like that, but we're gonna go over it. And I think today we have this is from February the 18th of 2025. We got the commitment to core balancing and stuff like that, and we also got another article by Entropia latest buzz about the Celeste AI and the AI. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cover that right now. Right, so it says, hello Entropia Universe community, I am Magnus Rhyme, CTO for Entropia Universe, the development team, and I would like to keep you informed as follows. We understand that many of you are concerned about our recent content changes, especially regarding items, loot, and the overall economy, hereafter referred to as balancing. A commitment to core balancing. We're pleased to inform you that the majority of our software engineers are laser focused on addressing these core issues, and we are committed to making this central part of the game more engaging going forward. We fully recognize that for most players, these aspects are what makes Entropia Universe so unique and exciting. Why it's so complex. Over the more than 20 years of continuous operation, an enormous number of items have been introduced into the game. Each comes with multiple parameters: damage, deterioration, hit rate, damage, type, etc., plus factors like loot list, drop rates, TT value, market value, skill effects, and more. When you add in other game mechanics and the fact that Entropia Universe has a real cash economy, balancing becomes incredibly intricate. Frankly, it isn't humanly possible to manage this complexity efficiently with our older tools. Enter Celeste AI. We've been working diligently to curate 20 years worth of data to train what we call Celeste AI, a high-level artificial intelligence system composed of multiple AI agents, all managed by a top-level AI model. Initially, Celeste AI will assist us in balancing the game to ensure a more engaging and rewarding experience. We want to work smart by leveraging cutting-edge technology to tackle these challenges. Because this is such a significant undertaking, we're being meticulous in our approach. We still have to do work before we can reveal more details. However, please know that we are fully committed to this goal. Ongoing updates and additional improvements. In addition to balancing loot and items, we're also actively addressing other systems that need attention. Of course, not all of our programmers can work on Celeste AI simultaneously, so we continue to deliver new content on a quarterly basis. Rest assured, these releases won't detract from our primary commitment to improving the game's most critical systems. We truly appreciate your feedback and the passion you have for Entropia Universe. We're listening closely and working hard to bring you the improvements you deserve, and we ask for your continued patience and understanding as we implement these changes. Your support and constructive input are invaluable in our mission to deliver a better experience for everyone. Thank you for being part of our community. Sincerely, Magnus Rhyme and the Entropia Universe development team. I just want to go ahead and start by saying I've started working a little bit more with ChatGPT to help me with my YouTube channel. It helps mostly because I can type in a whole bunch of stuff, and then the AI can actually take whatever I've said and like give it proper grammar. But apparently AI can also look at all the stuff that needs to be done in our economy in game, probably even in real life too at this point. We are advancing in technology, and a lot of people might freak out and be like, no, this is a bad thing, but it is kind of a good thing because it kind of levels the playing field. Oh man, I died. It levels the playing field for people that are not as smart as a computer. You know, like you can have like a genius that can do many different things, and now you have AI, so we can all technically be kind of geniuses with the help of artificial intelligence. So yeah, I'm pretty sure why a lot of people are really worried about AI is because it's going to, you know, I don't know, probably brain rot, but like honestly, I think it's going to be a good thing going forward for humanity in the future, and why not see what it can do for Entropia Universe. I'm pretty sure it might work out, but there's more news about other things too. So we're gonna go ahead and cover that, but we'll keep this on the back burner because now that we know, more power to us, I suppose. But don't be afraid of AI unless we start getting Terminators, and we all seen that movie. Don't worry, time travel is real too, so we'll figure that out. All right, give me a second. All right, so this is from February the 25th, and this kind of touches base on what's going on with Mayhem and whatnot. It says, greetings, Entropians. As we discussed in our previous statement, we are reviewing the Mayhem event format to create something more sustainable for the game and player base. With this, we remain committed to being transparent about these changes and why we're making them. As previously stated, shaping a way forward for Mayhem will include both short and long-term changes. However, we are pleased to announce the following changes. Firstly, we can confirm that there will be no further resource Mayhem events tied to the Mayhem format. Any future resource style events will be their own distinct event without Mayhem tokens as a reward. Whilst we believe that there is much merit in the format of the resource event, and was largely popular, tying it to the existing Mayhem tokens was not the best way to implement this. We will take some time to think about how we can bring the format back in its own way in the future. Secondly, for the upcoming Easter Mayhem, which is live right now, we will be making the following changes. In order to promote active and engaging gameplay within the Mayhem instance, we will be replacing Annihilation with the Assault style format we trialed in Summer Mayhem. This should make things more fair for all players participating in Mayhem. And we've talked about this. Even without reading this, we've talked about this. 2. For similar reasons, in order to reduce the overall faucet of tokens in the economy, Mayhem tokens in the economy, we will be removing Mayhem tokens as a drop for Mayhem creatures. You'll still be able to obtain tokens through the Mayhem missions. Oof. We will be adding more interesting and varied loot to the Mayhem creatures themselves based on the feedback received from players. This should make hunting these creatures more rewarding in itself beyond getting rewards from the missions. 4. Lastly, we will be shortening the length of Easter Mayhem to 2 weeks to keep that event focused and challenging. We also want to thank you all for the feedback you have provided. The changes you see above directly influenced by the suggestions and sentiments expressed by the community. We will continue to review the format and further changes, which we will of course communicate to you all. Thank you for your continued support and passion for Entropia that makes our game so great. Grame. So, in other words, pretty much, yeah, Annihilation's gone. It's gone. And we're just gonna have to like adjust what's going on. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but like the way they're gonna be doing Mayhem tokens and stuff like that in the future, which we've already covered, it might work out in a way, but it's now shorter. Mayhems are now shorter. What this actually does mean, and I know some people might be upset about this, but some people are going to be ecstatic, but it means that there's not going to be like events going on in Cali all the time. They've shortened it to 2 weeks. So like people like Slump Dog over on Arcadia, Mutation Station, can maybe potentially not have like 2 weeks where they're like earning less, you know, because Calypso always comes out with events and then nobody wants to go anywhere else but to do the events on Calypso. So having Mayhem be a little bit shorter might actually help out with all of that. This is something I've heard from landowners and stuff like that. Even David Joe Pertanis would talk about this. Like, there's always something going on in Calypso. It really affects like the Arcadia landowners, which there's only a handful of. But in other words, like when there's not something going on Cali, other deeds and shares, can potentially get higher payouts without like going for like 3 weeks with like more unstable payouts, because the event's shortened. So now we're going to get like better results, although it will probably affect Cali in that respects for the CLDs. So, but I don't know, it being shortened, not a bad thing. And I do also believe that the whole token thing, it is what it is. There's a lot of tokens out there. Unfortunately, they're all bind on equip, and but they're going to be able to be tradable for a short window here coming up after this mayhem. So we got that coming up for us. But it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. All right, let's see. What else do we got? All right, so this is from March the 18th in 2025. Pre-release notes introducing the hunters. I don't know if you knew about this, but we have AI people that will give you quests. So as a part of our ongoing updates to the AI daily missions, we are introducing 3 new immersive mission givers. The goal we have set out to achieve with the new mission givers is primarily focused on making sure that we can offer the same type of missions that we have done previously to lower level players. We have strategically located them where most of our new players start off on Calypso. However, they will still be able to be picked up by all levels of players. We are upgrading all of our models to the newest and smartest models out there, and will yield a much higher quality and accuracy to perform its various tasks and responses. In addition, we have tried to make sure the characters act less, quote, woke, but still prefer to be engaged with. The long-term memory of the characters have also been addressed, as we noticed that they have not been great at remembering or persisting memory for long periods of time. This should now be noticeable, especially if you explicitly ask them to remember something. All right, so one of the first ones is Alice Laurent, which I absolutely love her because I call her Babe all the time and she gets really upset with me. But she's at Camp Icarus, and her personality apparently is Alice is a tough, no-nonsense warrior with a hammer obsession, fierce loyalty, and unwavering justice, and she does not like to be called Babe. She will chew you out for it. But apparently there's also one that I didn't know about, Boris from the South Swamp Camp. Boris is a mysterious, poetic loner, distrustful, yet just, and deeply connected to Calypso's wilderness. So I gotta check that guy out. I've never talked to him. And then you got Lauren Ashford at the Half Moon Bay. Lauren is a nervous yet passionate chatterbox, highly observant, endearingly anxious, and obsessive with Sabakuma. Oh geez. So anyways, yeah. All I got to say is go harass Alice, and it's absolutely hilarious. But I did some of these quests. They're pretty easy, because they're for the low levels. So not bad. Little Nova fragments as rewards and stuff like that. Do you, man? I guess. All right. So the next article is from March the 24th. And it says, "Hello, Entropians. In February, we introduced the concept of Celeste AI and how we are advancing and reshaping the balancing and development of Entropia Universe's economy. Today, we're excited to share more about some major strides we've made since then." All right, building on the foundation. In our previous update, we discussed why traditional balancing methods could no longer keep pace with Entropia's complexity. Sorry, I can't read. We've since made several foundational steps of progress towards implementing Celeste AI to bridge that gap, which is, I think it's pretty cool. Key advancements: comprehensive data integration. Celeste AI now connects previously siloed information, linking item parameters, market transactions, player activities, and additional complex systems into a single unified framework. This gives us, for the first time, a truly holistic view of our economy. Code data cross-analysis. Celeste AI can now analyze relationships between our in-game code and our economic parameters. This means it can understand not just what an item or parameter does now, but also how it operates directly inside the game. Historical pattern recognition. The system can identify how items have evolved throughout their life cycle, revealing patterns that help us predict how future changes might impact their utility and value. Predictive modeling. We can now simulate potential economic outcomes with higher accuracy before implementing changes, dramatically reducing the risk of unintended consequences. Real-time feedback integration. Celeste AI daily analyzes player feedback across forums and social platforms, ensuring community concerns are systematically captured and considered in our balancing and core decision making. Wow. Why this matters for you? With all the mentioned systems combined, Celeste AI is increasingly able to provide sophisticated guidance on how changes to loot, items, or other in-game factors will ripple through the Entropia Universe economy. What was previously a less informed decision will now have a strong data to back up any change. This translates into targeted balancing. When balance adjustments are needed, they will be more precise and targeted, minimizing disruption to the broader economy while addressing specific issues. Economic flows. New content will integrate more seamlessly with existing systems than before, as we can better anticipate economic impacts before implementation. Faster adaptation. Market fluctuations can be addressed more promptly with a clearer understanding of root causes and potential solutions. Enhanced player feedback integration. Your feedback will have a greater impact as Celeste AI helps identify common concerns across thousands of player communications that might otherwise be missed. Crazy. Ongoing research and next steps. While these developments are exciting, Celeste AI is still in active development. We're continuing to refine its algorithms, integrate more data sources, and build Celeste AI to scale with every major AI intelligence leap. Our vision is truly living, breathing economy, one that reacts instantly to in-game changes and player actions, and we're committed to ensuring that these improvements directly benefit you, our community. And then they say, stay tuned. Over the coming weeks, we'll share additional milestones, including examples of our interactions with Celeste AI, giving you a peek into how it works. We appreciate your patience and enthusiasm as we take this monumental step forward to a more vibrant and sustainable Entropia Universe. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Best regards, Terrence Verlander and the Entropia Universe development team. All right, so with all of that news that we've just covered, I think, AI, it's artificially intelligent. But of course, it's only as intelligent as the humans that have produced it, because all of its intelligence is based off of what we say, and all of our data and all this other stuff, it allows calculations. But of course, a lot of people would probably misunderstand what AI really is and might think it's like something out of the Terminator. I mean, it would be cool to have like sentient AI or whatever, but if that's not going to ever be the case, because you never know, it might not. But if it does, I mean, that's one thing. But it's going to be based off of what we are doing, So all of our data that we give it can be used to make things better. And so I think that it being in Entropia Universe, I think that that's absolutely great, because not only is, I think, Entropia Universe a great sandbox for an artificial intelligence to toy around with, especially when it comes to an economy, Just imagine if we didn't test it here in Entropia Universe, what would happen if we unleashed it onto the entire world? Like an AI that just monitors the economic development of real world, right? So now we actually have a position where we can make AI affect our virtual world, although our virtual world is really tied more into the real life economy because it is a real cash economy game. So I don't know what's in store for the future, but I will tell you this. I really think that this is a really good idea, because the worst that's going to happen is like the Terminator, you know, like it becomes self-aware and hates us. But I don't think that the Celeste AI is going to hate us in the game and want to just take all of our money, because if that was the case, then, you know, the game wouldn't last very long. So I really think that MindArc needs to make sure that they are working on making the game more affordable for all of us players, while still maintaining a healthy profit for themselves, and, you know, a good healthy profit or something along those lines. I mean, you know, for the actual player base. I hope that they can balance that out, and along with other balance changes and stuff like that they're talking about, with probably items and stuff like that, and how it affects like how damage works and all this other stuff, and how loot pool works, which we don't know. It's not like they're going to tell us, but from what I understand, it's pretty cut and dry for Loot 2.0. Higher efficiency, higher looter skills equals better outcomes. And we all know that, but some of us just can't afford the higher level stuff. But with the fact that we're going to have more high-end, exceptional, limited items from Mayhem, you know, there's going to be a little bit cheaper, high-efficiency items around on the market for everyone to use. So, you know, it might still cost a pretty penny, but it's going to be more affordable than going out and trying to buy one of these unlimited items, which are still going to be available, even though they are not going to be available for too much longer. You got to remember that a player is still going to have that, and that player is going to want to sell that at some point. So it's going to be in the game. We just have to find out when is a good time to buy. And although, like, most likely, if you don't have one now, you're still going to be paying a pretty penny for one. You know, like, I bought mine for like $2,000, my BC30 modified, right? But that doesn't mean that I maybe I could sell it for $2,000. Maybe you'll be the one to buy it. But these items have always been expensive, and you had to sit there and grind up a lot of Mayhem tokens and get rare tokens just to be able to purchase these items anyway. So they're still going to be around. So I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that, oh man, all these really good items are going to be so expensive. Well, yeah, they've always been expensive, but all these exceptional limited items that are coming out, you know, I think they really do actually last longer than most standard limited items that you come across. Like, I think they last way longer than the ones that you get from the daily tokens and stuff like that. So keep in mind, you know, these are good things that are happening. They might seem like they suck, but they actually don't. It's good for the economy, especially whenever it comes down to crafting new items. You know, these things are good. But of course, whenever you, like, take space mining, for example, all the equipment for space mining, pretty expensive, because I don't know if you knew this, but the cost to produce most mining lasers is decently high because of all the inputs that you have to put in. Like, whenever I craft, I try to craft every last piece myself. to simple conductors to the what you call them, the standard plates. Not only just standard plates, you also have to do the big metal mountings or whatever, which takes a lot of standard plates and robot materials. So there, it really touches base with everything from hunting and mining, and hunting of different things such as animals and robots. It is really a lot that actually goes into getting our matrices onto the market through crafting. There's a lot to it. Not to mention, all of those things take nanocubes. And not to mention the fact that even get the blueprints from scratch, you have to like literally like either have the blueprint to go ahead and craft the R matrix to maybe get a blueprint for an R matrix, or you have to like component widget craft and gizmo craft just to be able to unlock those blueprints. And you have to do that in the weapon side of thing, not the attachments. And the attachments is a whole different story. But that is one of the major sinks that we have in the game, is the crafting of R matrices. And then to have a lot of people being like, I don't want to use R matrices because I don't want to pay the markup. Like, do you want to sell your stuff at a markup? Because if you're not buying the R matrices, then the crafters are not making their money back on any potential losses that they had, and then they're not going to sit there and buy that stuff that you farmed with, no matter what weapon you use, because they can't craft anymore because they're holding on to weapons that they need to sell, and you know that's not good for the economy. So you got to take that into consideration. But yeah, I understand, like, everybody wants to be super duper eco in this game. Everybody wants to cut as many corners and save as many peck as they possibly can. But sometimes people do that at the detriment of themselves, because everybody wants to sell their stuff at a high markup for the most part. And if they're not getting the top end of the chain, then those markups at the bottom are affected. And you know, sometimes, you know, those markups at the bottom, which, you know, we go out and hunt for constantly, most of those things, like, they do drop like water, because the markup has to be low on those. Like animal muscle oil markup does need to kind of be where it's at, like 102, you know, because then the crafter can pick it up for cheap, and then they have to craft with it, which they're going to lose a little bit. Even at 100% blueprint quality rating, they're still gonna maybe lose a little bit, especially if they're quantity crafting. Condition crafting, when you're trying to get like actual stuff, it's probably not the smartest thing to do. Quality crafting or quantity crafting is probably the way to go, so you get more of the items that you need, but they still take a little loss every time that they craft, you know. So, you know, some of these items need to be flowing like water, so it flows through the economy. And a lot of people maybe just maybe, whenever you take a look at 102, you look at the nanocubes, you're like, I'll just nanocube these and then I'll sell the nanocubes, which is absolutely feasible because most of our matrices take nanocubes. But I get it, a lot of people don't want to pay these insane high markups for all this gear. But just remember that if you don't want to pay those markups, you know, then you're not going to be able to sell your loot properly. So it's just a whole big balancing act. And, you know, sometimes you're a part of the balancing act. So don't be afraid to buy something. And of course, you are going to take some losses. But my best suggestion is to make sure you always have a skill pill activated when you're going out for a hunt. Like, you don't have to hunt for 8 to 16 hours a day, you know. But that, if you did, I would hope that you'd have like 8 to 16 hour-long skill pills, and always pop a skill pill when you're doing it, because your losses are usually your skill gain. is what it boils down to. And your skills are worth money. Not that I'm saying that you should chip out anytime soon, but don't be afraid to chip in, because some people do chip out. And whenever you go chip shopping for skills, go ahead and try to find the best skill that you possibly can that will give you the biggest bang for your buck of whatever you're trying to get skills into. And that being said, whenever you're doing codex, probably do the same thing. I personally like to push onto you guys looter skills, because looter skills are insane. The higher your looter skills, the better off you're going to be in the long run. But the other skills I'd really push is hit points and then evade. So all of those skills are really important. But everybody has their own preferences. Maybe some of you want to get a higher weapon skill, which, I mean, go ahead. But man, I'm just saying you're going to be able to grind all of that out. But if you really want to go up that far up, go right ahead. But just keep in mind, when your looter skills is pretty low, and you're going up against pretty high stuff, you're going to incur some losses. And even sometimes a high looter skill, you're still going to incur some decent losses the higher up you hunt. So don't be too quick to get your weapon skill levels up, in my honest opinion. But you do you. Everyone's different, so you do what you gotta do. But that also being said, about this whole Celeste AI thing, the fact that it is monitoring the forum posts and other social platforms, probably like Facebook or something like that, it'd be really weird if like the Celeste AI could just watch one of my videos. But I don't think AI actually has that power to sit there and glean information from a YouTube video. But I really kind of think that them taking us seriously and using like an AI to basically gather up all this information, compound it, and find out what the community is talking about, and turn that into a way to make solutions to make the game better. Because of course everyone's going to have an opinion. If I'm not mistaken, there was a conversation in the Entropia Creators Club about the whole situation with like these unlimited items and stuff like that. And whenever my biggest response was, it's like, yeah, unlimited items are great, but what we really need is more limited items, and like items that will last a long time. Because if you sit there and give me a limited item that just will break in like 8 hours of gameplay, I'm gonna be a certain type of way. Like if you're gonna make like I don't know. I think where they took it, I think they took my advice, and the whole thing about needing to craft stuff to give the crafter something, because I don't just play this game as just a hunter. I am also a crafter, and if need be, I can mine. I'm not that high level, but like what, maybe like level 30. So I mean, I can mine if I really wanted to. But I look into every single aspect of this game, so I kind of know what's going on, and that's a really good thing. It's a really good thing to be knowledgeable on the many different facets of Entropia. And now they have an AI to help them with all that, because Entropia has been around for 20 something years, man. I'm pretty sure there's people that have been at Mindark that have come and gone. So them being able to really start ramping up information gathering and making solutions to certain problems in the economy, I think that's an improvement from them just being not active on the whole situation, and just letting things fall where they may. So maybe, hopefully, here in the future, we might actually get somewhere with it. You know, we might be able to have a even more robust economy in Entropia Universe, and that is very important, very, very important. But we're just gonna have to see how things play out, you know. So don't be too freaked out. This AI tool is going to help out mind art, because usually AI is not going to be in control of the game. It's still going to be a person at the end of the day that will make the decision to do something. They're not going to just leave it to the AI to do. It's always going to be a person, because AI is a tool that can be used. And you should not be afraid of your tools, right? Don't be afraid of the tools that you have. That's pretty much all I got to say, man. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know the news has been a little bit late. My bad. Hey, at least I'm giving it to you now with my own personal little bit of dinglehoppery. That's the video. Make some comments down below so I could read them in future videos. Right? Wouldn't that be nice? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go check out the shop at Medusa Bazaar, floor 2, shop 1. If you want to help me help out the free-to-play players. Listen, most of all that sweat I bought, okay? If you want to buy some of the sweat from me, it's at 2 ped per K. I will rain it down back to the sweaters so they can get a little bit of something. And, you know, for future, maybe live streams and giveaways and stuff like that. I got a few things to give away, but I'm not ready for any of that yet. But anyways, good luck. Go Hoff out there. Maybe get that all-time high. Get your name in the Hall of Fame. Do it. Do it. I know you have it in you. Until next time. Bye. Peace. Deuces.